Los Angeles was my first boyfriend. Back when I thought boyfriend meant, oh my gosh, he touched my shoulder and I now have cooties. He would play with my hair and tell everyone when I would hide food in my mouth because my family was too brand new to this country. When I was 11, Los Angeles became my star-crossed friend when my family moved to the suburbs an hour away. I rebelled against my Latin parents, meaning yell and run before the chancla came out. I'd visit my friend after school and on the weekends for tacos off Central and Washington. Los Angeles always knew exactly what I needed to feed the homesickness away. I thought Los Angeles was my first love. But Los Angeles was actually the boy who gets really passive-aggressive, so I can't tell if he actually said that or I just misheard. Did he really call my father a wetbag in broad daylight? My father held on to my hand, and his face held on to his tears tighter until we were blocks away from the immigration lawyer's office. He let go of my hand, but never the tears. Instead, use that salt water to plant our family's roots into the concrete, constantly trying to reject us. My cousin, still in the hood, once asked, "Does it make you think you're better than us because you got out?" When you're from an urban jungle, people elsewhere will treat you like an exotic pet. You speak, but your high school teacher tells you to stop being so ghetto. I might offend someone. I learn to quiet the Spanish in my head even when I am in Spanish class, and I do my best to not correct my maestra. She butchers my tongue. I yearn for the getaways back to the old neighborhood because I thought I still belonged, but I don't anymore. They call me gringa, blanquita, güera, all the things to remind me I don't belong anymore. Not in Los Angeles, not in the burbs, not in America, not in the motherland of my own mother. So I run to another city. Los Angeles was the ex I text and call when I got drunk. Crying I missed us, but he never said anything in return. Eventually, I stopped calling, texting. I began to date again. New York was my first girlfriend. But even in another urban jungle, you're still an exotic pet. They ask where I'm from. LA. No, where are you from? South LA? They say they would have guessed East LA because they're trying to save face and there's a flair about me. A flair? Is this your way of trying not to say spice? Because if you did, your racism would show? Your racism is showing. Cover up and guess again. A college professor once told me to stand in the middle of the class and tell my story. I am the only one he told. What is it about me that old men, white but not exclusively white, want to know my story? Like I am their house-trained Latin pet. I sigh out my scholarship essay. It has the right amount of spice for him to swallow. Growing up in South Central Los Angeles to two undocumented orphan immigrants, he cuts me off. They were orphans, both. Yep. My parents came to America when my mother was pregnant, you guessed it, with me. We lived in my aunt's cellar with the rats. I almost ate a dead one. Well, I put it in my mouth but didn't bite, was saving it for later. I stored food in my cheeks for times I was unsure food would come. I froze in corners for hours that my mother would forget I was there. It's not her fault. I swear in another life I was a statue. I came alive when my siblings were born and shared my food. We ate, we moved away. We thrived enough to not be a threat. But my father was still reprimanded by a judge for saying over and over that he was an orphan. When they questioned why we couldn't uproot back to Mexico, he repeated himself over and over, because if they kicked us out of this country, we would have gone back to nothing. The judge asked for a therapist to evaluate me, the palpable one. I was depressed. Still am. More likely to be worse if we got deported. But save the kids. We stayed. Green card, residency, citizenship. Their passports say American, but their passport photos don't. It sparked all our fighting matches. Our cultural differences got the best of us and outspilled the worst. Battling it out in English and in Spanish, screaming, why am I not brown enough, white enough? None of this makes sense, and depression swallows me even more. But depression is a white people thing. So I surround myself with white people, and I lose my color even more. I never shared any of that with my professor. I fed his idea of me. Proof the American dream wasn't dead. But I am not the American dream. My father was. He was my American dream. You remember those tears he held in earlier? I think the cancer broke him down in his last days to finally let those tears out. I think Los Angeles finally caught up to him. He spent most of his time left in the old neighborhood, remembering how far he had come, from orphanages to cellars to cities to suburbs. I still try to find the street where he was called a wetbag, find the street, and walk down to see if Los Angeles will echo the word. But I am light-skinned, and I know it protects me. I was asked once, is the man of the house home? While my father was in the lawn mowing a few feet away. His head down, I answered, let me go ask my mom. I didn't come back out. They left. My father finished mowing and came inside, head down. We never talked about it. When I lived here, I felt close to God because Los Angeles literally translates to the angels. I thought Los Angeles was divinity, and being here meant I was saved. But I was wrong. Los Angeles was never my first boyfriend who kept trying to change us to fit his idea of what my father and I should be. No. LA was my father, and everything he did to make this place home.